The children he had with Nneka, the other woman, the children he had cheated on Amarachi, his wife, for, were not even his. Hi lovely viewers, it's story time. Grab your popcorn and cold drinks and fasten your seatbelt as we drive you through this interesting story of the barren wife and her cheating husband. In the vibrant village of Umudi, where the river sang songs and the bird carried tales on their wings, there lived a young couple named Chinedu and Amarachi. Chinedu was a respected trader, known for his hard work and kind heart. Amarachi, his wife, was a beautiful, graceful, and soft-spoken woman, known for her faithfulness and wisdom. The whole village rejoiced when they got married, for it was believed that their union would be blessed with many beautiful children and good fortune. Chinedu had chosen Amarachi because of her virtues. She was a virgin when they got married, something highly regarded in their village. They loved each other deeply, and Chinedu was proud to call her his wife. But as years passed, unfortunately for them, there was no sound of children in their home. The villagers began to whisper behind their backs, wondering what was wrong. Chinedu's family started pressuring him, reminding him that a man's legacy would be carried by his children. Chinedu, a man without children is like a tree without fruits, his mother said one day when she visited them, her face lined with concern. The kinsmen are worried. You're not getting any younger. Chinedu sighed heavily. He had tried to ignore the pressure for a long time, but the weight was becoming unbearable. Amarachi was also as concerned as he was, but she trusted that their time would come. She spent many nights praying, believing that the gods would bless her with children one day. But after 10 long years of marriage, with no children in sight, Chinedu's faith began to fade away, like most men in his situation. He loved Amarachi, but the whispers in the village grew louder. His friends would tease him, some even making fun of his wife in the secret. I wonder how a man would go and get married to his fellow man with his own money, one of them said. I believe she had killed all her children in her womb before getting married to Chinedu. I don't believe that virgin nonsense she said she was before getting married to our friend. The second friend chipped in. So all she does is to sleep, wake up, cook, eat, bath up, and go back to sleep again. I pity Chinedu, the third friend said. And so, in the quiet of his heart, a dangerous thought began to take root. One day, on a visit to a neighboring village for a festival, Chinedu met a lady named Nneka. She was a widow, beautiful and charming, with a confidence that Amarachi, his wife, never had. Nneka had 2 children from her previous marriage, but her husband had died mysteriously years back. She caught Chinedu's eyes, and something stirred in his heart. Maybe the problem is not me. Maybe Amarachi is the one who cannot have children. I have to try someone else to see where the fault is coming from, Chinedu thought to himself. That night, while laying beside Amarachi, Chinedu's mind was filled with the thought of Nneka, the other woman. He felt guilty but couldn't shake off the feeling. His desire for children, his desire to silence the whispers of the villagers, and to prove he wasn't the problem, began to outweigh his love for Amarachi. Chinedu's visit to the neighboring village became frequent. At first, he told Amarachi that it was for business, but in truth, it was to see Nneka. Nneka was kind to him and spoke with a sweetness that made him forget his troubles. Slowly, he began to fall for her, convincing himself that it was the right thing to do. She has children already, Chinedu thought. Surely, she will give me children too. Without telling Amarachi, Chinedu secretly married Nneka. In his culture, it was not common for men to take a second wife without the approval of the first wife. But Chinedu knew Amarachi would never accept it, so he kept the marriage a secret. Nneka was happy to be with him because he kept spoiling her with all kinds of gifts, even ones he had never bought for his main wife, Amarachi. And soon after their marriage, she became pregnant. 9 months later, she gave birth to a healthy boy, and 2 years later, another child who happens to be a girl. Chinedu was overjoyed. Finally, he had the children he had longed for. He began to spend more time in Nneka's village, visiting his new family, while Amarachi was left in the dark, wondering why her husband was slowly drifting away. "Is there something wrong?" Amarachi asked him one night. "You have been distant. I hardly see you anymore. What is happening? You come home nowadays only once in a while." Chinedu smiled weakly. "It's just work, my dear," he lied. "The trade is very demanding nowadays, and I have to travel often to supply goods to the neighboring villages." Amarachi nodded, though her heart ached. She noticed the change in him, but didn't press further. She trusted her husband and believed that one day the gods would answer her prayer. However, the truth always have a way of revealing itself, no matter how well it is hidden. One day, while fetching water from the stream, Amarachi overheard 2 women gossiping. "Did you hear that Chinedu had another wife in the next village?" One of the women said. "Yes, and she already had 2 children for him." Poor Amarachi. I'm sure she has no idea." Amarachi's heart stopped. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her hand shook as she dropped her water pot, the sound echoing through the trees. She ran home, her heart pounding in her chest. When Chinedu returned that night, she confronted him. "Is it true?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "Do you have another wife and children somewhere else?" Chinedu couldn't look at her in the eyes directly. He had been caught. Amarachi's world crumbled as she realized the man she had loved for so long, the man she had trusted with all her life, had betrayed her in the worst way possible. Amarachi couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. The betrayal was too much for her to bear. "God, when will you give me my own child? Where have I wronged you? Why did you choose to punish me with such a cheating and lying husband?" she lamented. She had loved Chinedu with all her heart and had waited patiently for the gods to bless them with children. Now, it seems as though all her hope had been shattered. She became withdrawn, refusing to speak to anyone. The villagers noticed her changes, and the whispers began to grow louder. "She's cursed," they said. No wonder Chinedu went to find another wife. One evening, in the depth of her sorrows, Amarachi went to the riverbank. The moon shone brightly in the sky, reflecting off the still waters. She stood there, looking down at the water, tears streaming down her face. Her heart was heavy, and for a brief moment, she thought of ending it all, of jumping into the river to end her own life. But then, something stopped her. A small voice inside her, fainted but clear, told her to remove such evil thoughts from her mind, that her time has already come. Few weeks after that incident by the river, one morning, Amarachi woke up feeling strange. Her body felt different, and she suddenly realized she hadn't had her monthly cycle in weeks. Could it be what I'm thinking? No, that can't be possible. After 10 years? She rushed to an experienced nurse near the village square, who confirmed what she had barely dared to hope for. "Amarachi, you are with a child," the nurse said with a smile on her face. Amarachi's tears of sorrow suddenly turned into tears of joy. After all these years, the gods had finally answered her prayers. But her joy was mixed with bitterness. She could no longer stay in a marriage where she had been betrayed so deeply. She was already thinking of leaving before she discovered this. Despite her pregnancy, Amarachi made a decision. She couldn't live with Chinedu any longer. The betrayer had cut too deep, and even though she was carrying his child, she knew that their marriage was over the moment she found out about his secret family. She went to the village elders, who were witnesses of their marriage, and asked for a divorce. Chinedu was shocked when he heard the news. He couldn't believe that Amarachi, his faithful wife, was leaving him because of his other wife. He begged her to stay, but Amarachi had made up her mind. She packed up her things and left the house they have built together, moving into her parents' house. "Welcome back, my daughter," her mother said with tears in her eyes. "Our people say that your father's house never rejects you. You are free to stay here as long as it pleases you." Chinedu's world began to fall apart. Although he still had Nneka and their 2 children, but something in his heart was broken. He misses Amarachi and the peace they once had. Even though he had a second woman in his life, he couldn't find the same peace and comfort he once had with Amarachi. Meanwhile, Amarachi's pregnancy progressed. The villagers were in surprise. The woman they once thought was cursed was now carrying a child. The whispers turned from pity to admiration. People began to say that the gods had tested Amarachi, but in the end, she had been rewarded for her patience and faithfulness. One fateful day, Chinedu discovered something that would change everything in his life. He overheard Nneka speaking with another woman in her village. "The children are not his own, oh," Nneka said quietly, thinking no one was listening. "I had them with another man despite being married to Chinedu. He thinks they are his, but they are not. He doesn't satisfy me now, so I have to find ways to satisfy myself." Chinedu felt as if the ground had disappeared from beneath his feet. His world came crashing down. The children he had with Nneka, the children he had cheated on Amarachi for, were not even his. "Ah, this woman has killed me," he shouted. He confronted Nneka, hoping she would deny it, but she boldly admitted the truth without any shame. "Well, I needed a man to satisfy me very well in bed, because all you do is just to satisfy only yourself, with the purpose of me giving you kids alone, without considering me, if I am satisfied or not. So I had to find another alternative," she said boldly. Chinedu was devastated. He had lost Amarachi, the love of his life, for nothing. The children he thought were his were not, and now he had nothing left. After long 9 months, Amarachi gave birth to a bouncing baby boy, and the village celebrated her strength and perseverance. Although most villagers persuaded her to go back to her ex-husband for the sake of the child, but she remained unmoved, saying that she'd rather remain a single mother than going back to a cheating husband. Chinedu, on the other hand, was left with nothing but regrets. He had lost everything: the trust of his first wife, the respect of the village, and even the children he had longed for. In the end, Chinedu learned that betrayal and dishonesty only lead to loss. Amarachi, though her path had been difficult, found peace and happiness in her new life. The gods has blessed her, not because of who she married, but because of the purity of her heart. Now to you, my lovely viewers, as a woman or as a man, will you ever forgive such a cheating partner who went as far as having another family at your back? Let us know at the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon in the next story.